To do this right, I really need to have a guitar in my hand, but I've always wanted to do this. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. So my apologies to Jimi Hendrix and his estate for that last bit, but if I'm going to talk about the sky, it had to be done. In the last episode of this series, I broke my unwritten rule about including only stable and fully released mods, but as the saying goes, in for a penny, in for a pound. So this time I'm going to go for broke, or broker, or more broke. And with that in mind, this mod deep dive isn't even about a mod. Instead, I'll be talking about a resource pack. Specifically, I'll be talking about Dramatic Skies version 2.5.1 beta. There is a legacy demo version out there as well, and I'll cover that too because I think you just might need it. But first, let's talk about the skies without this pack. If you're running Minecraft on a potato, your skies in your world probably look something like this. But if you can afford the performance hit, you're probably running with shaders, so your world might look more like this. Or even better, like this. However, with Dramatic Skies, your in-game sky can look like this, no matter how weak or powerful your system is, and that's why I'm talking to you about this today. Yes, I know that some folks truly prefer the pure vanilla out-of-the-box experience, and some still prefer the pure vanilla Minecraft experience from versions released a decade or more ago. But that's not me, and while I totally understand that such people exist, I don't understand why these folks feel that way. Likewise, there are also folks that enjoy eating liver and onions too. Good for them. I mean, if I try to eat liver, I'll barf for sure. But my point here is that there's no single right way or best way to do or think about most things, and Minecraft is no exception. So, for those other folks, I say you do whatever it is you want to do. That's cool. But for the vast majority of us, certainly the vast majority of us watching videos about Minecraft mods, we are not purists. We want the most features, best graphics, and highest performance we can squeeze out of our machines without them actually melting down. And that is what this resource pack is all about. It basically replaces the static elements of the Minecraft sky with different assets to achieve stunning skies in-game without melting your motherboard. And that's it. Period. Yes, there's a little nuance in there. For example, in the beta pack, each family of biomes has its own set of skies. A daytime sky, a nighttime sky, and different skies for sunrise and sunset. Plus, there are a few different skies for inclement weather and the end dimension, and some of the skies have some animations. Even considering that nuance, the concept is incredibly simple, but when you see the results in action, it may even bring a tear to the eye of the most jaded old Minecraft veteran. However, you will need one mod to make the magic happen. You can use Optifine, or if you believe that Optifine Opta isn't, then you'll need to run the Fabric Skyboxes mod or the Forge Skyboxes mod. If you aren't running Optifine and you're not running Fabric or Forge, then you are some kind of rebel extremist living well outside my knowledge or experience. But if your loader or system has some way of loading third-party sky textures, then use that. And I bet that'll work. Probably. Maybe. In a similar vein, I'm pretty sure any mod or mechanism that lets you use third-party textures for the sky will work. I only mention these ones by name because they're the only ones that I'm aware of. But before we explore any more of the eye candy, let's talk about the cost, at least in terms of performance. For the most part, all we're talking about is an asset swap. And as noted, you probably need to run a little mod to do the actual swapping, and unless something has gone terribly wrong on your end, you should see zero or very close to zero difference in performance. As an example, when running my system in potato mode with no shaders, no skybox mod, and no dramatic skies, I'm getting 313 FPS with a low of 213 and an average of 288. Now if I keep everything the same but enable the skybox mod and dramatic skies, I get 308 FPS with a minimum of 205 and an average of 289. And if I go in and turn off all the vanilla bits, like the clouds and such, I get 302 FPS with a minimum of 214 and an average of 267. At the other end of the config spectrum, let me run my system with shaders. And in this case, I'm using my preferred shader, BSL. Now, without the Skybox mod or Dramatic Skies, and with my fancy schmancy clouds, light beams flaring, and all the other juicy bits up and running, I get 113 FPS with a minimum of 40 and an average of 98, and all of the cooling systems in my computer case are humming like the engines of the Enterprise at maximum warp. Now, if I turn on the Skybox mod and Dramatic Skies, I now get 110 FPS with a minimum of 103 and an average of 103. And if I turn off all the sky-related bits provided by the shaders, I get 117 FPS with a minimum of 111 and an average of 98. Of course, those numbers were fluctuating all the while I was running the test, so these are fairly indicative samples, but not particularly accurate samples. For full transparency, I am running all of this with Ford, so undoubtedly your actual mileage may vary. See your dealer for details. And in looking at the overall results, and keeping in mind that the sampling was small and completely unscientific, running Dramatic Skies on a potato seems to be very, very slight performance hit, and with shaders it is a very, very slight performance gain. But since these impacts are so incredibly tiny and well within the statistical margin of error, I think the key takeaway is that you get all that photorealistic goodness for practically free. So why wouldn't you run Dramatic Skies? A note to the craftsmanship and realism built into the pack: the skies are varied, but except for the end skies, they don't really differ radically from each other. Skies for closely related biomes are likewise similar in appearance, and this is by design. As you move between biomes or conditions that change skies, you don't want an abrupt and disconnected experience. You want a silky smooth atmospheric transition that gives you a rich variety without clobbering you over the head with it or breaking your sense of immersion. Now, I would imagine that it's a challenge to achieve that while still maintaining strong visual appeal, and I think it's been achieved here. The only real negative thing I can say about the pack is that it's still incomplete. But that problem's going away. The author is actively working on expanding the pack and tries to have updates ready on at least a monthly basis. So in a few minutes, I'll explain to you how to get the fullest experience until the pack is complete. However, for now, let me show you the skies that are currently available. For each set of skies, I'll include a list of current and planned vanilla biomes where you can see them. I also want to point out that you may have noticed that the pack includes a nicely detailed moon model as well. I absolutely love this model, and even if you don't add the mods to enable custom skyboxes to your world, you can still load the demo pack or beta and still get the pack sun and moon. So you've seen the magic, and I think the results are impressive and speak for themselves. However, more and more folks are running their modded Minecraft worlds with shaders and distant horizons loaded, and when you combine those with the vast open skies in the packs, you get an amazing combination that truly does feel like you're looking across dozens, if not hundreds of kilometers of open sky and country. Now, I hope by now you might be curious as to how you can get these bits for your own worlds, and that depends on which version you're after. Now, there's a demo legacy version and there's a beta version. The demo legacy version is available on both CurseForge and Modrith, and I've included links to the Dramatic Skies pages for both of them in the episode notes. The latest beta can only be found on the author's Patreon page, and I've included a link for that too. So which one's best for you? Personally, I run both, and you probably should consider it as well, and here's why. The beta currently has custom skies defined for most, but not all vanilla biomes, and when running around in a biome for which there's no dramatic skies defined, whether they are one of the vanilla biomes that are not complete yet, or one of the bazillions of custom and modded biomes out there, you have an empty sky. And even default vanilla potato sky is better than an empty blue sky. And if you're running with mostly or entirely custom biomes, like I am, those empty skies will get real old real fast. So to prevent that, you set up both the beta and the demo resource packs, and it would work like this. The beta supports most of the vanilla biomes and gives you the greatest variety of skies. The demo gives you almost no variety, but works for all the biomes, including modded ones. To ensure you get the fullest experience, when you're on your resource loading screen, keep both of them at the top, with the beta above the demo. And this ensures that you get the custom goodness for any biome or weather condition that has custom goodness, and you'll get the fallback or demo goodness whenever and wherever the custom stuff is not available. And that pretty much wraps it up for Dramatic Skies, and this is the bit where I normally go on to encourage you to reach out to the bot owner, or in this case the resource pack owner, and to let them know that you enjoy their stuff and encourage them to keep making the stuff that we all love so much. And yes, all of that's still true. Frankly, it'll probably always be true. But this time around, I'm talking about content that's behind a paywall. And yeah, I totally get it. We all prefer to get something for nothing, including and perhaps especially me. It's how the vast majority of the Minecraft modding community works, or at least the Java edition. However, I still encourage you to go out there and yes, pay for this stuff. It doesn't cost much, and you don't need to subscribe for months and months to get the beta, but I do encourage you to subscribe to this author as well as other content creators. Pay whatever you feel comfortable with. And for content where you can't pay, or pay as much as you think they deserve, or the content's not behind a paywall in the first place, you can help in other ways. Post a link to the content on your social media feed. Talk up the content with your personal network. Leave likes. Make comments, subscribe. Just say or do something so that two things will happen. All of these actions will help new folks to know about the content and give the content creator the attention that you think they deserve, and that the creator on the other end of the internet has some idea that folks are digging their work, that folks are even seeing the work. It's a feedback loop. So until next time, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and a touch of good fortune. Take care. Cheers.